As a letting agent, we are asked for advice on so many topics, from tax to insurance to succession planning, power of attorneys, as well as things to do with the actual property itself, such as repairs and maintenance and tenancies. Now, although we cannot give direct advice on any of these particular topics, we can generally give a really good overview of the key issues and raise a number of questions for our clients and for our tenants to raise with an expert, and so they can decide themselves if they wish to take any more formal advice. Now, we have a really good network of professionals that we're very happy to refer clients to, and one of them is here with us today, and it's Alexandra Richards from Bruce Stevenson Insurance Brokers, and account executive. So welcome here today, Alex. Thanks very much for coming in. Alex and I met through our involvement with the Edinburgh Care Forum, and we often find ourselves talking about specific property-related insurance issues, from tenant insurance to empty property insurance, landlord insurance, and insurance claims. Mm-hmm. So today we are going to talk about the hot topic of tenant insurance. Now, when we go through the leases with our tenants, we strongly advise them to take out their own insurance. We can't compel them to do so, but we talk about the fact that landlords will have their own insurance for the building and for the contents, but a tenant's own items are at risk, and so that's why we want them to have insurance. Can you tell us a little bit more about the benefits of tenant insurance?
Yeah, well, as you just correctly pointed out there, Laura, landlord's insurance covers the landlord for their buildings and their contents, whereas the tenant's contents insurance policy provides cover for personal possessions belonging to that tenant. This ensures that their valuable items are properly protected in the event of loss or damage during the course of a tenancy.
And I guess talking about valuable items, I mean, tenants can have all sorts of things like, smartphones, bicycles.
Exactly. So for their personal things. So whether that's any electronic items such as a laptop or a hi-fi, but also their fixtures and like furniture and their personal clothing. And as you rightly say, to make sure they've got cover for some more valuable items which might be outside of the apartment, such as bicycles or prams and so on.
Absolutely. Well, some of our tenants now are renting for much longer, so we do have a lot of unfurnished properties, and we also have people having children in tenancies. So I don't know about some of you, but some of these bugaboo and other, push chairs and devices of that, it can be seriously expensive, and you wouldn't want to lose those. So that's great. So in terms of the insurance policy, I mean, obviously I have a rough idea what a landlord's policy might cost. What sort of costs would a tenant be looking at?
So insurance premiums are always very difficult to determine a certain amount as to what it's going to cost a tenant for a certain limit of cover, because it depends on a number of factors. These are largely driven by the postcode area of the apartment or the flat or whatever the apartment within the building, and can also relate to things like security, what sort of locks, or if there's even an alarm. That can make the difference, whether there's been any previous any claims they may have had. The tenant may have had a bad experience with some losses for theft, and that can have an impact. The actual occupation and role of the tenant can also have an impact on premiums. So as I say, it's very difficult to be precise about that, and I wouldn't want to say here that for a certain limit of cover it's going to cost you £200, for example. The actuaries that work behind the scenes for the insurance companies do a lot of data crunching to enable certain rates to be established.
God, I didn't realise that depending on what a tenant does could affect their insurance. Is that because different types of employment, people in different types of employment are more prone to making claims than others?
Yes, so you have to consider the moral hazard, as it's called.
Wow.
God.
Yeah. God, well, don't tell me, I don't know what a letting agent what my policy would be. But brilliant. So when a tenant is putting insurance in place, what are the questions they should be asking of a broker?
Yeah, it's a good question. They should be asking things like what items can be covered, because some policies might exclude some more valuable items. They need to ask whether higher value items should be specifically specified on the policy, just so that insurers are aware of those, and whether items can be covered outside of the home, again, as we alluded to earlier about the more valuable bicycles and buggies and so on, and indeed your own camera equipment, your iPhone, for example, just to make sure that they're
jewellery,
exactly, whilst that's out and about. and also to find out what portion of any claim they might be responsible for in the eventuality of a loss, which is known as the policy excess.
Right.
So most insurance policies will ask for a minimum of 150 to 250 policy excess, some slightly lower than that.
So that's what the tenant is paying towards the cost of the claim.
So if they were to lose something, that would be their burden, that first amount, and then the insurance policy picks up the rest. So those are the sort of general questions they should be asking.
Okay, good. And I guess those sorts of questions you can't really, when you're going through one of these price comparison sites and things like that, you don't always know if they're asking you the right questions or what information you need to
That's
give
right.
them.
Yeah, things are not always black and white, are they? There's quite a lot of grey, and quite often, clients would like to be able to speak to somebody about that, just to clarify something, rather than the computer saying yes or no. Sometimes people's circumstances are different, and they just need clarification around things. And we find, particularly with more elderly customers or clients, that they again prefer to speak to somebody rather than trying to manage their way through a sort of a software system or compare the market type arrangement on the computer.
And I guess that's a benefit of going to someone like you. You're Edinburgh based, and you understand what the different insurance companies
exactly. And we're, as you say, we're local, so we know the local market really well. We're reputable. We're obviously regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. We're Scotland's largest independent insurance broker. There's no call centre set up, so everybody gets to speak to a person.
Right.
And I think really importantly, we have an in-house claims department, which means that when you really need that insurance policy to work for you, we've got a claims department who will work on your behalf to do that. So you're not left trying to deal with the insurer yourself. Our claims department do all that for you. We'll work alongside your account executive or your account handler to make sure they're fully briefed with the situation, and then feed that back to you. So at a time when you're stressed and things are not going great in the eventuality of something having happened, we take all that away, hopefully that anxiety, so that you can sort of get on with things as best as you can in the situation.
Brilliant. And of course you know what the insurance speak is and what they mean by difficult questions.
We can create some leverage or
right.
negotiate hard for the client to make sure that the claim is settled as best as it can be if it's covered. And the comprehensive cover obviously that our policies have, we make sure that they try to make sure that they're as comprehensive as possible in the marketplace. So those are just some of the benefits of using a broker.
Well, look, thank you so much for that, Alex. I really appreciate your time. Hopefully that's been helpful to our tenants who are looking into whether or not they're going to take out their own insurance. But as I say, if you did want any more information, please do contact us and we can introduce you to someone at Bruce Stevenson.